Hello everyone, my name is Maida and today I'm here with a video and I am going to talk about how to plan an empirical research. Now, there has to be a research design when you are designing your research, and there are some steps which you should follow to know and to answer your question what your research is about. So, number one is defining your research problem. A research problem can be in a form of a question, a hypothesis, or an aim. You have to be clear from the very beginning that what is that thing which you're trying to understand, or what is that thing which you're trying to give an opinion to, or which you're trying to interpret. The This is one of the most important part in the research design. The second one is that what is your strategy when it comes to answering that question or hypothesis or finding that aim? It can be in the form of an experiment, it can be in the form of a survey, or it can be in the form of a case study. Another thing which is important is sampling. Sampling is something which you do for giving out your surveys or interviews. Sampling can be random, it can be purposive, or it can be just one case study. There are a lot of examples of sampling, and it totally depends on your research problem, what you're trying to do. Um, the next step in the research design is data collection. How would you like to collect your data? Either it can be in the form of structured questions, it can be in the form of open or close-ended interviews, it can be in the form of collecting videos, it can be you living with that community which you're trying to understand. Another important thing is how you're going to analyze your data. Your data analysis can be in the form of inferential or descriptive statistics. It can be totally a discourse analysis, which is usually done in qualitative, or it can be open coding. The next step, which is very important, and I think it's the last step, is results. How do you want to present your results? Your results can be in the form of descriptions, they can be in the form of empirical generalizations, or they can be in the form of theoretical inferences. Results are totally something which you want to show or which you find out from your whole research when you're collecting your data and everything. I think now the important part over here is that a lot of studies and a lot of books and journal articles have been written about research and why research is important or why it is done. um, I'm I'm also doing the same thing over here, telling you about empirical research design and how do you apply it into your own research. Now, the question over here is that often people have these three questions in their mind, which are about what, how, and why. To answer these questions, you have to go and look at the main types of research. There are three types of research, but I'm only going to talk about qualitative research and quantitative research, which are the most popular research types. And it is important in the research design to actually actually mention that what type of research do you want. Um, as I've said, I'm going to talk about qualitative research, and I'm going to talk about quantitative research. So let's take a look at quantitative research and what it's about. Quantitative research is basically it's deductive, and it's extremely subjective. It is about quantifying. It's about quantifying something. It can be in the form of numbers, or you quantify something or some variable, independent or independent variable. It depends on your research design. It is basically about testing a theory or a hypothesis during your data collection or during your sampling. It can be in the form of a statistical report, or the whole research design can be an experiment or a non-experiment. Now, quantitative is extremely popular for its experimental design, but there's another aspect to it which you can use as surveys or interviews. um, Let's take an example of what quantitative research can be in the form of a sentence or a topic. So over here, I have chosen this topic that the more the mothers are educated, the more their children are independent. Now over here, mother's education is an independent variable, and I'm trying to quantify children's independency by checking how mothers are how many mothers are educated. I'm not going to talk about quantitative at this moment, and I'm going to now talk about qualitative, and then we will go through the research design. Now, qualitative research is inductive and it's totally objective. It's your opinions which you find out through your data, it's your interpretation, it's your narration. It's there to understand the better idea, to understand better what people actually experience or culture and their culture. It qualifies your research. It's the opposite for quantify. um, it's basically about making a hypothesis. It's not about testing one, but it's making something out of your research. It can be in the form of a narration, or it can be in the form of interpreting your results. It totally depends on what people are saying to you or what people are answering in their questionnaires or interviews or case studies, and then you make your results based upon them. Um, as I said, it can be in the form of surveys, it can be in the form of interviews, it can be in the form of case studies, videos, what and this all has to be decided in the research design, during the research design. So you know that through which thing you can get the better results. Now let's take an example of one of the qualitative researchers I have selected. The research is why parents in rural Pakistan are reluctant towards sending their kids to school. So now it's a qualitative research because we are trying to understand that the psychology of parents in rural Pakistan, that why they think that students their children do not cannot go to schools, or it's not a good idea. Let's 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 try to understand that why qualitative research is important at this step, and then we will go to the research design. Now, there have been a lot of debate about whether qualitative is good or quantitative is good, but qualitative research trumps over quantitative because it explores the meaning of people's cultures and their experiences. Another thing is that a lot of things cannot be understood by numbers. Human behavior, human perception, their perspective, it has to be qualitative, and it has to be in the boundaries of qualitative. Now let's look at the research design. So my number one question while designing this study would be that where do I where does the where does the data come from? So over here it's very obvious that the data will come from rural areas of Pakistan, and researcher would have to go there or have case studies or interviews over there to find out. The second question would be, yes, how will data be collected? Now, as I talked about it earlier, the data can be collected in various forms. Over here, let's say we choose data is going to be collected through interviews. Now, interviews can be done, I think, if you're in the other country, it can be done through Skype, or it can be, you can go to the area and collect the data. Now, the third question is that how data is going to be treated. Now, there can be a lot of things over here again. Over here, I'm choosing categorizing the data according to themes and interpreting them according to the themes. It's all about categorizing and putting perspectives into these categories. Last thing is that how do you want to present your results? How do you want to tell the world that, yeah, that's how I found out the results, or these are the results, and in this form I'm going to write it down. They can be a narration, it can be an interpretation, It can be a report, it can be a discussion, and that's pretty much it. And obviously these reports can give rise to more hypothesis or more research, and that's how research is done. Over here there's an important quote, um, which says that, let's wait for the video to complete because I don't know what the equation is. Sorry, the quotation is. So it is said by Werner Heisenberg that what we observe is not nature in itself, but nature exposed to our method of questioning. And I think that's why research design is very important, to know where you're coming from and what do you want to say and what do you want to find out. Thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you had fun. Uh, there it is, a little self gratitude. And yep, there it is. And okay, bye bye.